Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Start with Mangalacharan. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvatamsha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay, so starting the auspicious month of May this week, the week where we are celebrating Shri Narasimha Chaturdashi and celebrating the appearance of Lord Shri Narasimhadev, who came solely and solely for blessing his pure devotee, Shri Prahlad Maharaj. So last whole month we have been reciting Shri Mukundamala Stotra. Now we will transition to a new prayer this week. So today we'll do Shri Damodar or Shri Dashavatara Stotram, glorifying all the different incarnations of the Lord. So as we were celebrating Lord Shri Ramachandra last month, and then like on the Saturday class we saw how before Narasimhadev comes, first Varahadev comes to kill Hiranyaksha, right? And then of course Narasimhadev will come on the Sunday. So all the wonderful avatars of the Lord are glorified by Sri Jayadev Goswami in this beautiful prayer. So we will sing this prayer today and this whole week. Okay, so I will sing and then we can do the translations. Shri Dasavatar Stotram by Shri Jayadev Goswami Pad. प्रलय प्रयोधि जले धृतवानसि वेदम् विहितवहेत्र चरित्रमखेदम् केशवधृता मीनशरीरा जय जगदीश हरे क्षितिरिह विपुलतरे तिष्ठति तव पृष्ठे धरणी धारण किन चक्रगरिष्ठे केशवधृता कूर्म शरीरा जय जगदीश हरे वसति दशन शिखरे धरणी तव लग्ना शशिनि कलंक कलेव निमग्ना केशवधृता शूकर रूपा जय जगदीश हरे तव कर कमल वरे नखमद्भुत श्रृंगम् दलित हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गम् केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे चलयसि विक्रमणे बलिमद्भुत वामन् पदनख नीरजनित जन पावन केशवधृता वामन रूपा जय जगदीश हरे क्षत्रिय रुधिरमये जगदपगत पापम् स्नपयसि पायसि समित भवतापम् केशवधृता भृगुपति रूपा जय जगदीश हरे। वितरसि दिक्षुरणे दिक्पतिकमनीयम् दशमुखमौलिबलिं रमणीयम् केशवधृता रामशरीरा जय जगदीश हरे। वहसि वपुषि विशदेवसनं जलदाभम् हलहति भीतिमिलितयमुनाभम् केशवधृता हलधररूपा जय जगदीश हरे। निन्दसि यज्ञविधेरहः श्रुतिजातम् सदय हृदयदर्शितपशुघातम् केशवधृता बुद्धशरीरा जय जगदीश हरे। म्लेच्छनिवहनिधने कलयसि करवालम् धूमकेतुमिव किम् अपि करालम् केशवधृता कल्किशरीरा जय जगदीश हरे। श्रीजयदेव कवेर्इदमुदितमुदारम् शृणु सुखदं शुभदं भवसारम् केशवधृता दशविधरूपा जय जगदीश हरे। वेदानुद्धरते जगन्ति वहते भूगोलमुद्बिभ्रते दैत्यं दारयते बलिं चलयते क्षत्रक्षयं कुर्वते पौलस्त्यं जयते हलं कलयते कारुण्यमातान्वते म्लेच्छान् मूर्छयते दशाकृतिकृते कृष्णाय तुभ्यं नमः। श्री दशावतारस्तोत्रम की जय। श्री जयदेव गोस्वामी पाद की जय। Yes, anybody would like to read the translation?
I can read, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji.
O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, you have assumed the form of a fish. All glories to you. You easily acted as a boat in the form of a giant fish just to give protection to the Vedas, which had become immersed in the turbulent sea of devastation. O Keshava, O Lord of universe, O Lord Hari, you have assumed the form of a tortoise. All glories to you. In this incarnation as a divine tortoise, the great Madara mountain rests upon your gigantic back as a pivot for churning the ocean of milk. From holding up the huge mountain as a large skull, like depression is put in your back, which has become most glorious. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, you have assumed the form of a boar. All glories to you. The earth, which had become I, merged into the Garbhodaka ocean at the bottom of the universe, sits fixed upon the tip of your tusk like a spot upon the moon. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, you have assumed the form of a half man, half lion. All glories to you. Lust as one can easily crush a wasp between one's fingernails, so in the same way the boat of the wasp-like demon Hiranyakashipu had been ripped apart by the wonderful pointed nails on your beautiful lotus hands. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, you have assumed the form of a dwarf Brahmana. All glories to you, O wonderful dwarf. By your massive steps you deceived King Bali, and by the Ganges water that emanated from the nails of your lotus feet, you deliver all living beings within this world. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, you have assumed the form of Bhrigupati, Parshurama. All glories to you. At Kurukshetra, you bathed the earth in the rivers of the blood from the bodies of the bodies of the demoniac Kshatriyas that you have slain. The sins of the world are washed away by you, and because of you, people are relieved room. The people are relieved room the blazing fire of material existence. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, You have assumed the form of Ramchandra. All glories to you. In the battle of Lanka, you destroy the 10-headed demon Ravana and distribute his heads as a delightful offering to the presiding deities of the 10 directions, headed by Indra. This action was long desired by all of them, who were much harassed by this monster. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, you have assumed the form of Balrama, the yielder of the pearl. All glories to you. On your brilliant white body, you wear garments the color of a fresh blue rain cloud. These garments are colored like the beautiful dark hue of the river Yamuna. Who feels great fear due to the striking of your plowshare? O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, you have assumed the form of Buddha. All glories to you, O Buddha of compassionate heart. You decry the slaughtering of the poor animals, performed according to the rules of Vedic sacrifice. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, you have assumed the form of Kalki. All glories to you. You appear like a comet and carry a terrifying sword for bringing about the annihilation of the wicked barbarian men at the end of the Kali Yuga. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, you have assumed these 10 different forms of incarnation. All glories to you. O readers, please hear this hymn of the poet Jayadeva, which is most excellent, an awarder of happiness, a bestower of auspiciousness, and is the best thing in this dark world. O Lord Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you. You appear in the form of these 10 incarnations. In the form of Matsya, you rescued the Vedas. As a karma, you bear the Mandara mountain on your back. As Varaha, you lift the earth with your tusk. And in the form of Narsimha, you tear open the chest of the Daitya Hiranyakashipu. In the form of Vamna, you trick the Daitya king Bali by asking him for only 3 steps of land, and then you take away the whole universe from him by expanding your steps. As Parshuram, you slay all of the wicked Kshatriyas, and as Ramchandra, you conquer the Rakshasas king Ravana. In the form of Balrama, you carry a plough with which you subdue the wicked and draw toward you the river Yamuna. As Lord Buddha, you show compassion toward all the living beings suffering in this world, and at the end of the Kali Yuga, you appear as Kalki to bewilder the Malechas, degraded low class men. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mani Mataji. Okay, wonderful. Yes, so these wonderful prayers by Sri Jayadev Goswami. Jayadev Goswami wrote this book called Geet Govind, describing the glories of Lord, eternal pastimes in Shrimandavan Dham. And yeah, just like we have these cycles, we see everything is cyclical in this world that we live in, right? The seasons change, the calendars change, the months change. So just as we have 12 months, we have these 12 beautiful verses and this, and yeah, all the different incarnations of the Lord, which are eternally going on in some planet or the other within this universe or the multifarious universes that exist. So every day is a celebration. Some incarnation of the Lord is appearing to establish religion, destroy the miscreants, and more importantly, and most importantly, the Lord comes only and only to give his love to his pure devotees, like Sri Prahlad Maharaj here. Narsimdev is appearing this week. So we'll continue to read these beautiful prayers this whole week. Okay, with that, we'll move on to chapter 18 of Srila Prabhupada Leelamrit. Yesterday we read in Hindi. We saw it was a very historic day, very auspicious day, just like this week is auspicious week of the Lord's appearance. It is almost going to be a year that Srila Prabhupada started his voyage from Calcutta to US and on the Bowery right now where he is. They're on the verge of incorporating ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We saw the legal work, legal papers were brought by the attorney, Mr. Goldsmith, and they're collecting this signs from all the trustees. We saw how Prabhupada is, again, all the people who are coming there are atheists, impersonalists, all different kinds of philosophies and followers, and Prabhupada is slowly, he's addressing every one of those. And we saw how, just like Prahlad Maharaj was about to be born, and the demigods wanted to attack his mother Kayadu, but Narada Muni came and stopped them, right? Similarly, here we saw yesterday how people were mentioning to Prabhupada about all the things that are happening in America. Somebody was about to be aborted while he was in the womb of his mother, but his grandmother protected him, right? And then somebody, they're saying in America how some people consider it very chic to eat the flesh of babies. So this is like complete irreligiosity, like the hub of irreligiosity or adharma. And that is what this Kali Yuga is. But we see how Srila Prabhupada is slowly destroying each and every leg of irreligion by his strong, potent message of Krishna consciousness. So just like we had one Hiranyakashipu in the Satyuga, here we have almost Hiranyakashipus everywhere around us today in Kali Yuga. And that is why this, the Lord appears to not just come and protect his devotees, but to propagate this wonderful Krishna consciousness, the bhakti movement that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in Kali Yuga. So we'll continue to see what Srila Prabhupada does next. But yeah, yesterday we stopped at this paragraph. So let me continue today. So none of them knew exactly what the half a dozen legal-sized type pages mean, except that Swamiji is forming a society. Why? For tax exemption, in case someone gives a big donation, and for other benefits an official religious society might receive. But these purposes hardly seem urgent or even relevant to the present situation. Who's going to make donations, except maybe for Mr. Goldsmith who has any money? But Prabhupada is planning for the future, and he's planning for much more than just tax exemptions. He's trying to serve his spiritual predecessors and fulfill the scriptural prediction of a spiritual movement that is to flourish for 10,000 years in the midst of the age of Kali. Within the vast Kali age, a period which is to last 432,000 years, the 1960s are but an insignificant moment. The Vedas describe that the time of the universe revolves through a cycle of 4 seasons, or yugas, and Kali Yuga is the worst of times, in which all spiritual qualities of men diminish until humanity is finally reduced to a bestial civilization, devoid of human decency. However, the Vedic literature foretells a golden age of spiritual life beginning after the advent of Lord Chaitanya and lasting for 10,000 years, an eddy that runs against the current of Kali Yuga. With a vision that soars off to the end of the millennium and beyond, yet with his 2 feet solidly on the ground of Second Avenue, Prabhupada has begun an international society for Krishna consciousness. He has many practical responsibilities, paying the rent, incorporating his society, and paving the way for a thriving worldwide congregation of devotees. Yet he doesn't see his humble beginning as limiting the greater scope of his divine mission. He knows that everything depends on Krishna, so whether he succeeds or fails is up to the Supreme. He has only to try. The purpose, as stated within ISKCON's articles of incorporation, reveal Prabhupada's thinking. They were 7 points, similar to those given in the prospectus for the League of Devotees he formed in Jhansi, India in 1953. That attempt had been unsuccessful, yet his purposes remained unchanged. 7 purposes of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. A. To systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all people in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world. To propagate a consciousness of Krishna as it is revealed in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. To bring the members of society together with each other and nearer to Krishna, the prime entity, thus to develop the idea within the members and humanity at large that each soul is part and parcel of the equality of God, that each soul is part and parcel of the quality of Godhead, Krishna. To teach and encourage the Sankirtan movement, congregational chanting of the holy name of God, as revealed in the teachings of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. To erect, for the members and for society at large, a holy place of transcendental pastimes dedicated to the personality of Krishna. To bring the members closer to the purpose of teaching a simpler and more natural way of life, with a view toward achieving the aforementioned purposes, to publish and distribute periodicals, magazines, books, and other writings. Regardless of what ISKCON's charter members thought of the society's purposes, Prabhupada saw them as imminent realities. As Mr. Rubin, the subway conductor who had met Prabhupada on a Manhattan Park bench in 1965, had noted, He seemed to know that he would have temples filled up with devotees. There are temples and books, he said. They are existing, they are there, but the time is separating us from them. The first purpose mentioned in the charter was propagation. Preaching was the word Prabhupada most often used. For him, preaching had a much broader significance than mere sermonizing. Preaching meant glorious, selfless adventures on behalf of the Supreme Lord. Lord Chaitanya had preached by walking all over southern India and causing thousands of people to chant and dance with him in ecstasy. Lord Krishna had preached the Bhagavad Gita while standing with Arjuna in his chariot on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Lord Buddha had preached, Lord Jesus had preached, and all pure devotees preached. ISKCON's preaching would achieve what the League of Nations and the United Nations had failed to achieve: real unity and peace in the world. ISKCON workers would bring peace to a world deeply afflicted by materialism and strife. They would systematically propagate spiritual knowledge, knowledge of the non sectarian science of God. It was not that a new religion was being born in July of 1966. Rather, the eternal preaching of Godhead, known as Sankirtana, was being transplanted from east to west. The society's members would join together, and by hearing the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, they would come to realize that each was a spirit soul, eternally related to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They would then preach this to humanity at large, especially through Sankirtana, the chanting of the holy name of God. ISKCON would also erect a holy place of transcendental pastimes dedicated to the personality of Krishna. Was this something beyond the storefront? Yes, certainly. He never thought small. He seemed to know that he would have temples filled up with devotees. He wanted ISKCON to demonstrate a simple, more natural way of life. Such a life, Prabhupada thought of the villages of India, where people lived just as Krishna had lived, was most conducive to developing Krishna consciousness. And all six of these purposes would be achieved by the seventh. ISKCON would publish and distribute literature. This was the special instruction Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur had given to Srila Prabhupada. He had specifically told him one day in 1932 at Radhakund and Vrindavan, if you ever get any money, publish books. Certainly, none of the signers saw any immediate shape to Swami's dream, yet these seven purposes were not simply theistic rhetoric invented to convince a few New York State government officials. Prabhupada meant to enact every item in the charter. Of course, he was now working in extremely limited circumstances. The principal place of worship, located at 26 2nd Avenue in the city, county, and state of New York, was the sole headquarters for the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Yet, Prabhupada insisted that he was not living at 26 2nd Avenue, New York City. His vision was transcendental. His Guru Maharaj had gone out from the traditional holy places of spiritual meditation to preach in cities like Calcutta, Bombay, and Delhi. And yet, Prabhupada would say that his spiritual master had not really been living in any of those cities, but was always in Vaikuntha, the spiritual world, because of his absorption in devotional service. Similarly, the place of worship, 26 2nd Avenue, was not a New York storefront, a former curiosity shop. The storefront and the apartment had been spiritualized and were now a transcendental heaven. Society at large could come here. The whole world could take shelter here, regardless of race or religion. Plain, small, and impoverished as it was, Prabhupada regarded the storefront as a holy place of transcendental pastimes dedicated to the personality of Krishna. It was a world headquarters, a publishing house, a sacred place of pilgrimage, and a center from which an army of devotees could issue forth and chant the holy names of God in all the streets in the world. The entire universe could receive Krishna consciousness from the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which was beginning here. In Keith, Prabhupada had a serious follower. Within a week of their meeting, Keith had moved out of the Mott Street apartment and was living with Prabhupada. He still dressed in his ragged denim shorts and t-shirt, but he began to do all the Swami's shopping and cooking. While in India, Keith had learned some of the etiquette of reverence toward a holy man and the principles of discipleship. His friends watched him curiously as he dedicated himself to the Swami. Keith, I saw that he was cooking, so I asked him if I could help, and he was very happy at the suggestion. The first couple of times, he took me shopping, and after that, I mostly did it. He showed me how to make chapatis without a rolling pin by pressing out the dough with your fingers. Every day, we would make chapatis, rice, dal, and curries. So, Keith became the dependable cook and housekeeper in Prabhupada's apartment. Meanwhile, At the Mott Street apartment, the roommates' favorite topic for discussion was their relationship with the Swami. Everyone thought it was a serious relationship. They knew Swamiji was Guru, and when they heard that he would be giving classes daily at 6 a.m. up in his apartment, they were eager to attend. Keith, I used to walk along the Bowery and look for flowers for him. Where there were no flowers, I would take a straw or some grass. I loved going over there in the morning. Howard, I would walk very briskly over to Swamiji's, chanting Hare Krishna, feeling better than ever before. Miraculously, the Lower East Side no longer looked drab. Sidewalks and buildings seemed to sparkle, and in the early morning before the smog set in, the sky was red and golden. Chuck, I brought a few grapes and came to the door of Swami. This was all new. Previously, I would always walk toward McDougall Street, toward Bohemia, aesthetic New York, and now I was walking to the Lower East Side, toward the business district, where there were no freaks, artists, or musicians, but simply straight buildings. And somehow, outside the carnival atmosphere, there was the richest attraction for the senses and the heart. Howard, I would sing all the way to the foyer, then ring the buzzer marked AC Bhaktivedanta Swami, and the door would buzz and open, and I would walk through the hallway into the small patio and up to his small second floor apartment, tiptoeing quietly so as not to wake up the neighbors. Chuck, I came into the hall of his building, and there were many, many names printed on plaques over the mailboxes. I immediately found the name A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, handwritten on a slip of torn paper, slipped into one of the slots. I rang the buzzer and waited. After a few moments, the door buzzed loudly, and I entered through the security lock. I walked through the small garden into the rear building and upstairs. Prabhupada held his classes for almost 2 months in the privacy of his room, the same room where he typed and talked to guests. To Keith, it was not simply a class in philosophy, but a mystical experience of sweetness. Okay, let's stop here today. Yes, anybody would like to share any reflections or thoughts on today's reading?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
First of all, the 7 rules that he talked about, that the purposes of ISKCON, I think we should have it on a big banner and we should put at the entrance at our ISKCON. I think they're beautiful. And second, I was thinking, as Krishna had said in 9.26, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. And Keith saw the same reverence towards Srila Prabhupada, and he offered to bring even a grass, right? Because he knew it will be accepted by Srila Prabhupada as an ultimate offering. So I think that was amazing to have that feeling. The purity of heart, the purity of intent was being shown, and the dedication towards Srila Prabhupada was shown there. So that's what I want to say. Thank you.
Mhm. Thank
And
you.
yeah, and then like Howard said, like Lower East Side did not look drab, because if you take off the worldly glasses from your eyes, rosy chashma jo bolte hain, if we take that off, then we see the clarity. With the clarity, if we see everything belongs to Krishna and Krishna resides in everything and everywhere, that's where he was starting to see, instead of the material buildings, he was starting to walk the spiritual path towards Srila Prabhupada's apartment. So thank you, Prabhuji.
Very bold. Yes, very nice thought, Mataji. Yes, we can certainly put the chapter on our notice board. And yes, like we see so many wonderful devotees, they come with such purity of heart. Whatever, when we come to our center, we see people bringing something or the other to offer, right? Some fruits, some flowers. So that is just the thing that the Lord sees, right? The mood, the love that we with which we offer, not the actual substance that we are offering, but really with what love and with what gratitude we are offering to the Lord. And yeah, like we were saying yesterday, Prabhupada truly, is like Shri Prahlad Maharaj, just as Prahlad Maharaj, pure devotee of the Lord, was constantly, engaged in service of the Lord, right? He gave us the beautiful 9 forms of devotional service, process of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So Prabhupada here, we see how people around him are noticing and are acknowledging that, he was 24/7 absorbed in the transcendental pastimes of the Lord and just serving at the lotus feet of the Lord. right? No matter where he was. And just like he also mentioned, like his Guru Maharaj, no matter where he was, which city he was, for him, he was always in Vaikuntha, always serving the Supreme Lord. And similarly here, Srila Prabhupada, every single day, no matter in what situation of life he was, with so many uh, failures, apparent failures, which seem to us from our materialistic eyes. But every single day, he was completely absorbed in the service of the Lord. And we see that purity is what is attracting all these sincere souls toward them. Thank you, Meena Mataji. Anybody else would like to share anything?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. So similar to what Minu Mataji said, it's like in the mind, and what is described here that his spiritual master, Prabhupada's spiritual master, was always residing in Vaikuntha and not in different cities because he was mentally, um, in its devotional service. So similar to that where I live right now. When I moved here, I did not like and everything. So I just thought, how can I connect anything with Krishna, and that would make everything Krishna conscious. So there's a wood view where I live, like in the backyard. It's like all the woods and the trees are there. So whenever I feel like low and I don't like it, I just feel that okay, I'm in Vrindavan. That's what Krishna is putting me here. That it's all trees here, so it's similar to that I'm in Vrindavan. And Pittsburgh is like not a flat land; it's like hilly, right? So whenever I go somewhere and I see like something uphill, I always think about Govardhan. I'm like, okay, this is Govardhan. So that just changes my mood. So I always, yeah, usually I go in my deck and I just stand there and just think like that. I just don't see the trees, and then I shift my mind that I'm in Vrindavan. So and it changes everything.
Hari Bol. Yes, that's the vision of the devotees. They see anything and everything around as the energy of the Lord or connection that helps them connect back to the Lord. So Pittsburgh is not different from Mathura, right? If Vrindavan, we have New Vrindavan, so Pittsburgh is kind of Mathura.
Yes.
So yeah, wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, anybody else would like to share anything?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Hare Guru Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu. Prabhu, from today's reading, thank you for such wonderful reading, and thank you, Meenudi and Shreya Mataji, for such wonderful reflections. I was thinking that how Prabhupada's, stressed preaching was very apparent today, how he underscored the importance of preaching. Every time he said that he had a vision and he was preaching, and it reminds me Nalin Prabhu's question this Saturday, as to how we could preach when we are still learning and we are struggling. And that kept in my mind, and I was just thinking about it. And I was thinking, even inviting people to our home and giving them good experience and giving them prasad is preaching. We don't have to tell them any big philosophies, but if just people have good experience, they have a positive idea about spirituality, and that's the beginning of preaching. So I just wanted to share that, Prabhu.
Wonderful. Yes, Prabhu, that is very true. Yeah, and I think what you said, I think that's something similar. Nalin Prabhu and I were talking during Prashad, after Prashadam, and I was telling, yeah, he was mentioning a little more detail about this person who he was talking to, and I kind of told him a very similar thing that, yeah, at least let's have just Prashadam, just bring them. Even if one time they say Hare Krishna, that's the beginning of their spiritual life. So, and actually, Srila Prabhupada, that reminded me, Srila Prabhupada, in one of his lectures, he quotes Malati Mataji's daughter, Saraswati. He says, this little girl, she's also preaching, right? Just if you tell that, just if you say the name of Krishna, and then even if she says, that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, that's it. That is preaching. That is the ultimate preaching. He was saying. So it can be as simple as that. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir.
Prabhu. Yeah, Hare Krishna. So, yeah, what we discussed last Saturday. I mean, the question I had on that the same day, right, to Radhika Priya Mataji is like, when we are not up to that level, whether we should preach or we should not preach. But good thing is that, whatever you better to share with someone, at least who are less conscious, right? But the good thing what you mentioned is, better to call for a prasad so that something will, come out and go inside. And the prasad power is so, at least he will take the name of Krishna, Hare Krishna, that is also enough. So it is not, we cannot call it as a preach, but sharing or discussing with someone. So a little bit elevate whatever the level he is or she is.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you, Naren Prabhu, for all your wonderful efforts in preaching. You're already started. So thank you. Okay. I think it's 6:38. Any final comments? Anybody else? Okay. If not, we'll pause here for today. Thank you for your wonderful association as we begin this most auspicious week of Shri Narsimha Chaturdashi. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. We'll conclude with Vaishnava Pranam prayers. वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद लीलामृत की जय निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
Hare
बोल.
Hare Bol.
And please don't forget we have two special wonderful programs today and tomorrow at the center with His Grace Adisham Prabhu. So hope to see all of you this evening.
Yeah,
Hare
well,
Krishna.
thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. Have a great
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Hare
Thank
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone.
Hare Krishna.